yeah, so, okay, going again. So when I initially started going to Mexico, everything was fine. And then my husband told me something kind of strange that said, well, if you see certain people over and over again and they're staring at you, well, then just ignore them because people over here are noisy or nosy. And so, okay, well, hello, I've been going there for like freaking 9 years, and all of a sudden people in that town are being nosy. Well, that was odd to me. Okay, I'll just put it in my back pocket and just continue moving on because that's how we do it. And so then obviously I just didn't really think about it. And so then that's when people started noticing people that were working at Casino M and people that were at working at Calimax and people that were working at the other casino, Jackpot, that I started noticing things that were happening. And that was okay, whatever. It was a small town, so I just didn't realize uh, that you can keep running into the same people over and over again. And but then it was like when they would see me, I would smile at them, and they would look at me like I was like the enemy. And so that kind of became weird because it was like you're smiling and being polite to people, and that they're absolutely looking at you like you're public enemy number one. And then going on, it's like they were coming around. If I went to VIP, which was another convenience store, and then that they were still following me. And so there was a boss, his name was Navarro, and then he was asking me if I would be able to do him a favor and be able to go pick up a truck or a property, something across from the United States because that he needed help, and that was the supervisor. And then they would come over for lunch because I would make them lunch and stuff, and then they would start asking me questions about my work history and what type of nursing I did. And I just mentioned that I was specialty in Alzheimer's and dementia, and I was did work at a behavioral and also at like Jerry Psych, and it was and uh, PCU and Med Surge, and then I kind of like froze because it's like, why are they interested on my work experience? It was like I was going on a job interview. And so, I was starting to see the same people, and it started to alarm me. And they were coming to my house and asking me questions like about my nursing degree and my administrative degree, and it started to make me feel uncomfortable. And once again, like I said, they would invite me to lunch, but none of the other spouses were invited to go to lunch, but I would. And then I would get sick when I would eat whatever they served. And so the neighbors started asking me about my food and my intake and if it was bugging me, what the food there. And I was like, well, what do they care, or why are they concerned about what I eat? Because once again, I started feeling sick after I would consume something. So I would have to make sure that I felt comfortable, and I would start only eating things that I purchased from the store and that were not like half eaten. So maybe if I ate half a yogurt and I put it in the refrigerator, and then I would go get something like maybe for the next morning, then I would started, like I said, feeling sick, so I had to buy single serving ones because then I would get sick. And it's like the neighbors were so concerned about me. And then the owner of the property, he actually had a lot of vehicles, and I didn't really think nothing about it, but the vehicles, it was like, okay, well, you have all of these cars. His name was Don Juan, and I was 362. Oh, I can't even remember. Calle Parral in Rosarito, and it was a green building, and it had one, two, three apartments in it, and it was like he would come over and he would come over with his shirt open, or he would like try to be hitting on me. And then my husband's friends as well would hit on me, and if I ignored their advances, well, I don't know what they're up to. And so, because I'm not that kind of a person, if I'm going to cheat, I'm going to, oh, I wouldn't. That means I would be in a relationship where I'm ready to end it. So I had a lot of individuals that were trying to, I guess, maybe break up our relationship. And then I had other individuals that were telling me that my husband was cheating on me, and that there was a gal named Myrna that was his girlfriend, and that I need to be careful because she was like some gang banger, and that she would do whatever it took to stay in the relationship, and that she was going to hurt me, and that there was a Esperanza, and there was prostitutes that were coming over to the apartment when I would be gone from, in between visits, because remember, I went every single month for 9 years straight, brought food, and made sure the bills were paid. And not only that, but I'm like taking care of my own household needs in Stockton, and which definitely were a lot more expensive. So I was very appreciative that I had a job that was able to support my family. And once, when you're married and you take vows, you're in a committed relationship, and you help the other one. So in a marriage, it's like you, to my belief, as I was taught, you support the other individual when the one is down. So it's kind of like a crutch. If one person is going through some tough times, then you as a spouse will support and lift that other person up. Maybe I did it too long. Now I'm seeing differently that yes, I absolutely did it too long. However, I was being told that they were taking advantage of him. He's an electrician by trade, and if he did electrical work, then they would fire him after the job was like almost finished. And I would tell him, like, why would you do something like that and start a job and you don't get maybe partial money because you have to buy some, like, get goods from, like, the electrical goods or supplies in order to be able to start that process, like rewiring a house, or cementing a driveway, or doing stucco on a house, or building the frame. You definitely would need to have money in order to buy supplies for your job. And if you had minimal means, because you weren't working, well, absolutely, you're going to ask for a portion of it, or you're going to ask that person to come and buy the supplies that's needed in order for you to do your job. Well, it was years of that, And so finally it was like, well, I mean, if people are taking advantage of you, because according to my spouse, uh, people become very envious of what you have and what they want, and then they are always bad mouthing you or upset because I'm bringing groceries and coming and paying your bills. Well, obviously they're going to see, well, this individual does have means to be able to do more than maybe the average person that's working a minimum job. And I mean, so, like I said, there was such a curiosity about my life and what I did and what kind of nursing experience I had, and administration experience, and it just started making me a little bit suspicious after time when they continued with the same stuff. And I had a friend that was deported. I'd known him for a long time, since I was in the 7th grade, and he happened to be there. And he told me, listen, you're not safe. You need to go back to the United States, because that's the safest and the best place for you, because people over here will try to take your identity. They will buy life insurance policies on you, and someone will pay the premium, and then once something happens to you accidentally, or if you are deceased, then those individuals are the ones that will collect the life insurance policy. And so he said, you need to listen and you need to go back where you're safe. And so once again, I sold all my stuff. I started from scratch. I started brand new. So it was really difficult for me to even accept that, because I don't think that people over there would, or anywhere, would even do that to an individual. And, I don't know the ways of living in a third world country. I'm a U.S. citizen. I would never think or suspect that something like that would ever even happen. And, people do things for money. It's like that song, what people do for money. Yes. Or if they're threatened, you need to comply and follow with whatever we're asking you, or then you take whatever's dished out to you. And the motto is, Plata, which is money, or Plumo, which is lead. So, yeah, lead meaning bullets, or your family. So, I'm saying this stuff because people need to know what happens and how they possibly can manipulate your family to do things that they really don't want to. And I have another subject that I will upload a video about their chat platforms, because obviously they're very intelligent, and they're not going to send text messages, or they're not going to directly call you and threaten you. However, my next video will be how they communicate with each other, because I'm getting tired of it and I want them just to leave me alone. And if someone doesn't want to be in a relationship, then they need to just move on. And that's what I'm saying. Life is too short, so why stay somewhere you don't want to be? And that's just the bottom line.